Okay, hello everyone. It is 2024, so how about we go through all of the Formula One team principles? Possibly one of the best team principles on the grid. You love him or you hate him. I love him. He was a team principal at 31, which means he was the youngest team principal in Formula One history. Christian Horner, everybody, give him a clap because you can't deny the success they've had recently. It has been outstanding what they are doing at that, whatever they're doing, whatever Max is doing, it is just working. So he was at the team before it became Red Bull. He was there when it was Jaguar in 2005 and then obviously transitioned into Red Bull Racing. Before Christian Horner's Formula One career, he was a Formula Renault driver and he was a B-class Formula driver back in the UK. So he did race for a little bit. He was in the single-seater with Ardent. He retired from that in 1999. So basically Christian Horner has been there for a very long time. Obviously no changes because what he's doing is working. And now Toto Wolff, possibly one of the most successful team principals on the grid. The fact he has overseen 7 World Driver Championships, 8 Constructors Championships between the years of 2014 and 2021 is absolutely mind-blowing. Alongside all of this, Toto Wolff is a owner within Mercedes. When it first came out that he renewed his contract, I found that such a funny thing to have to do when you're a co-owner. So I guess he was in the executive decision to keep him on board, which is quite funny. Toto Wolff was also a Formula driver before he went to business school. And a fun fact is that he was an investor in Williams and became an executive in the Mercedes F1 team in 2013. So what a wild ride. Frederick Vasseur. They're not having the best time at the moment, I don't think. They're struggling a wee bit, just a teeny bit. I mean, hopefully Ferrari will get it right this season. I'm hoping so, because it would be nice to see Charles or Carlos win a race and Charles to actually win a race from pole position. We all know that Fred stepped in to replace Mattia Binotto for the 2023 season. And yeah, look, there wasn't much change personally. You know, changing team principals, well, from Matteo to Fred, much of a muchness, and I'm kind of worried that's going to be the same thing at Haas with them getting rid of Gunter, but let's just talk about that later. Fred Vasseur also had like little stints in charge of the Sauber Alfa Romeo team from 2017 to 2022. So he knows what he's talking about, but I don't know what's going on at Ferrari, but there's just something. And then a fun fact is Fred Vasseur is actually an engineer by trade. His company actually supplies the chassis to the Formula E teams. So it's nice knowing that they do other things outside of Formula One, just like us F1 content creators should be doing things outside Formula One. Andrea Stella. So everyone, I feel like people get this mixed up all the time because we always see Zach Brown. Everyone is like, Zach Brown is a team principal. He is not. Andrea Stella is a team principal, but Zach Brown is just so invested and he just wants to be on camera. I mean, I don't know, he probably doesn't, but Andrea Stella became the team principal in 2023 when Andreas Seidel, so many Andreas, Stella became team principal in 2023 before replacing Andreas Seidel. So many Andreas. But before Andrea Stella became team principal, he was the racing director. Before that, he was the team's performance director and the head of track operations. So there's a couple of things he's, dabbled in at McLaren. So I feel like he's a really good fit for McLaren. You need someone that's going to come in and actually knows the team. I mean, sometimes it does work well when they bring someone from the outside in because it's a whole new fresh perspective. But in this case, it worked really well bringing someone in internally. Now let's talk about Aston Martin, where we have Mike Krack, who came in 2021 to replace Otmar Schaffnauer. Mike Krack has got a lot of experience going back almost 30 years, so he's doing a pretty damn good job. He's had significant engineering roles in F1, sports car, Formula 3 and DTM, so he knows what he's doing. Bruno Famin, who is supposedly Alpine's interim team principal for the time being. If you can remember, Otmar Schaffnauer and Alain Permain had their sudden exit in the summer of 2023. So that is when Bruno Famin stepped in to take over these guys. Famin did join about a month before all of that kicked off. He also has an engineering background, so many of these guys have an engineering background. Now let's talk about James Vowles at Williams, where he left a long career at Mercedes to go become the team boss at Williams at the start of 2023, where he replaced Jost Capito. James Vowles actually stayed at Mercedes when it was Bar in 2001, Honda, then Braun GP, then Mercedes, and he has never switched teams, which is, you know what, that would be quite a scary thing to do. His main career in Formula One has been as a strategist, but then obviously he got a nice little upgrade with Williams to become the team boss. AlphaTauri, or Racing Bulls, or Visa Cash App RB, Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. I don't know. Anyway, whatever one it's going to be, Laurent Mekies is stepping in over Franz Tost, who is actually stepping back to become a semi-retired consultant. Whatever that means, whatever that is going to entail for him, good luck, and I hope he has so much success. Tost did stick around to help the team, transition and have a new CEO step in, Peter Bayer, who actually left the FIA to take up this role. Laurent Mekies is also an engineer. So, anyone, if you want to be a team principal, become an engineer first. He began his Formula One career in Asia Tech working on their engines for Arrow in 2001 before he joined Menandri to become a race engineer in 2002. And we all miss this Toro Rosso. We miss it being Toro Rosso. So basically when it transitioned to Toro Rosso, under Red Bull's ownership, Mekies became the leading race engineer. And then later down the track, he was head of vehicle performance. And then he left this job to go as safety director for the FIA. He then left the FIA to go join Ferrari. And then he has now left Ferrari to join AlphaTauri Racing Bulls Visa Cash App RB, formerly known as Alfa Romeo. It is now Stake Kick F1 team? Stake F1, I don't know. I should know, but some of these names are a little bit mind-boggling, and or just Sauber, just stay as Sauber. And we also know that this team is going to become Audi in 2026. So I feel like this is going to be a very temporary structure to the team because new ownership coming in, who knows, they may want to keep the original positions of everyone that is there, or they are just going to completely wipe everything out and start again. And personally, I can see a whole wipeout because I don't think Audi is going to want to partner with Stake, which is online gambling, and Kick, which is an online forum for gambling, basically. And this is where Fred Vasseur was before he left to go to Ferrari. And his former role was the company CEO and F1 team principal. So I feel like that split was... the divorce papers were huge. Now the team is basically being held together by two men, where we have Andrea Stella, who is ex-McLaren, and Alunni Bravi, who is a former lawyer and I think an ex-driver manager. So they are the team's representatives. So they kind of don't really have an F1 team principal. They have these two, which are going to represent the team. So I am quite intrigued to see how all this is going to unfold. My understanding, Seidel is going to take care of all the top level infrastructure and everything going on up here, and then also help with the transition moving from Sauber to Audi in 2026. Alunni Bravi was in the legal team for Sauber from 2017, but now he's basically, I think, going to be running all the day-to-day things within the team. Haas F1, the most recent drama-filled news headline where Gunther Steiner was axed and did not get to say goodbye to his team that he basically helped build. And Ayao Komatsu is now stepping in as the team principal for Haas. And Gene Haas just decided to not renew Gunther Steiner's contract to hopefully pull the team off the ground, considering they have finished last twice in the constructors in the last 3 years. Komatsu does have a long history with Haas. He has also been trackside since 2016 when the team actually started, and he was serving as head of trackside operations. Komatsu began his Formula One career in 2003 where he was with Honda. He also then moved to Renault in 2006 as the tyre engineer. Komatsu was also a race engineer for Romain Grosjean. Komatsu was also a race engineer for Romain Grosjean, where he actually helped him get a few podium finishes. He did stick with Lotus as they transitioned transitioned to Lotus in 2012, but then he also left when Renault resumed ownership in, I think it was the end of 2015. So there are your Formula One team principles for 2024. Do we think anyone is going to get the axe this year? What do you think is going to happen with Audi? Let's have a chat about it. Bye.